This
is the Tristan Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristan Law, semi-retired pro wrestler, and today, I'm your host. You know what's crazy? 20 years ago, 1 million people chanting an arena. It was the stamp of approval on whether a wrestler was a star or not. Today, one tweet on X or a post on Reddit can do more damage or more good than any live crowd could ever do. Today, in this day in pro wrestling, fans aren't in the seats. They're looking at their screens. Especially WWE, because it's too expensive to see WWE in person, but that's a whole different conversation altogether. The big question is, who really has the power now? Is it the bookers, Triple H, or Tony Khan? Or is it you, the fans? You see, WWE and AEW, they're living in an era. Well, all of pro wrestling is living in an era where the crowd never stops chanting. If it's your first time here, whether you're watching live or on demand, fully interactive, make sure you respond to everything in the chat. There's a live poll going on right now. I'm asking, has social media changed pro wrestling? That's the question that I'm asking today. Has social media changed? Well, no, the question is, has social media ruined pro wrestling? 100% of the audience says right now that is a solid yes. But let's start with how it happened. How the chants left the arenas and took over our timelines. You don't need the crowd to hold up a mic to start a movement anymore. All you need is this. You need your phone. You need your computer. You need your tablet. Hashtags from fans have become the modern chants. We want Cody. Naomi deserves better. Save Mustafa Ali. Give divas a chance. When fans finally unite and stop arguing over which company is better, they unite online, they actually change the outcome. Look at Kofi Mania. Look at Zack Ryder, who just made his re-debut on WWE, but a couple weeks ago he was Matt Cardona, but this week he's Zack Ryder, but we're not supposed to remember any of that. Look, whatever. Look at the women's movement. Women finally started getting a chance in pro wrestling. Why? Because people started using their voices on lines. But negative movements too. Look at Roman Reigns' early push. I never forget being in the arena, the Amway, Kia Center now in Orlando, that first WrestleMania, the night after WrestleMania where Roman Reigns beat, who was it, The Undertaker? Nobody cared about Roman Reigns. Everybody hated Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is supposed to be the one you're supposed to like. He was the chosen one, but WWE fans didn't choose him. The way that promotions, you know, they track the sentiment, they track the feelings of how you, the fans, feel by just going online. I'm just going to go to YouTube. I'm going to go to Twitter. I'm going to see what people think, because that's what's really important these days. But here's the real question. Are fans really driving creative? Or is WWE or AEW, TNA, are they letting you think that you are? R-Truth got fired. Fired? I don't know, but R-Truth went away. I went on record and I said, R-Truth will never get fired. R-Truth has a secure job. Couple days later, 7 days later, R-Truth is out of a job. Out of a job? We don't know. But everybody online started chanting, started booking where R-Truth is going to show up next. And WWE said we had to bring him back. They brought him back, and what have they done with him? They brought him back to be serious. To be a serious figure, character in pro wrestling. But what is he doing now? He's handing his balls to Mickie James' husband? Fans have a voice. Maybe they're making us think that we had a voice. Maybe R-Truth wasn't really fired. What about Karrion Kross? Everybody tried chanting again, we want Kross, we want Kross. Eventually, people gave up on it. Where is Karrion Kross? Karrion Kross is on the Indies. Is Karrion Kross still in the WWE? We don't know. Will Karrion Kross ever come back to the WWE? We don't know. But WWE, I feel 100% they make us feel like we're in charge. The thing about pro wrestling, comparing it to other genres of entertainment, is that no matter when you watch pro wrestling, when is it happening? It's happening now. Even if it was recorded last week, you're still under the assumption that it's happening now. When you're watching Law & Order SVU, you can chant all you want. You can tweet all you want. You can go on Reddit and post whatever you want, but they don't care. They're just going to give us what they're giving us. But WWE, AEW, TNA, they're listening. Even your favorite indie promotion, they're listening to us as well too. They want to hear what we have to say. Now, maybe they may change the tide of what's happening, but are fans really in charge these days? I don't really think that we're in charge. I think it's the perception. You see, the whole thing about pro wrestling, it's a perception. It's a work. It's a show. They're making us think that we're in charge. They may take what we say into consideration. Hey, boss, I've got an idea. You give your idea to your boss. Your boss says, you know what, that's a good idea. I'll take that into consideration. But ultimately, at the end, what the boss decides to do, what the WWE decides to do, AEW, TNA, what they decide to do, that's on them. Mike Santana, TNA champion, had a moment crying in the ring with his daughter. He finally, kid from the Bronx, just like me, finally able to stand on top and be like, you know what, I did it. And I get to share this opportunity with my daughter. But now he's not the champion anymore. Fans are upset. Now, TNA doesn't have that much of a following, respectfully, as WWE does. WWE is the global leader in sports and entertainment in social media. So, with that said, there may not be nothing more than maybe a couple hundred people voicing their displeasure with Mike Santana, but let it be somebody in the WWE, let it be somebody in AEW. It's going to be overwhelming. What happens when the loudest voices online don't represent the crowd in the seat? Sometimes the voices that we're hearing, not the ones in our head, the voices that we're hearing don't really echo the ones that are online. Because in case you didn't know, I'm going to put you on today. There are two types of wrestling fans. There's the ones that only watch on TV and what they see they go with. They stay in that WWE or that AEW bubble. But then there's the other people outside of that. The people who are voicing their opinions a lot. I guess, to be respectful, I don't like calling people this, but smart marks. It could be the smart marks. The ones out there that know a little bit more than the average fan. And they're really voicing their opinion because they can remember when Eli Drake was in NWA, when Eli Drake was in TNA, just looking for his opportunity. And now that Eli Drake is in the WWE, they're not doing anything with him. And if you don't know who Eli Drake is, I'm talking about L.A. Knight. Yeah! But it's not just the system. It's not just the fans who learned how to work the system. The wrestlers have learned how to work the system too. Let me explain this to you for a little bit. Kayfabe, everybody's so concerned about kayfabe. You guys know where kayfabe is? Kayfabe is not gone by any means whatsoever. Kayfabe is alive and well. All she did was connect to the internet like the rest of us did. Kayfabe's here. Kayfabe just looks differently, right? Some people say that kayfabe is dead because we know in 2025 that all the wrestlers, most of them are friends. Think about it like your regular job. You don't like everybody at your normal job. I know I don't. I'm still polite. I'm still professional. If we have to work together, it's the same exact thing in the WWE. It's the same exact thing in pro wrestling. We know that pro wrestling is a show. So when you see the pro wrestlers hanging out with each other, Yeah, it's kind of weird if you came from a generation that I came from, that the heels, never hung out with the babyface. The babyfaces never hung out with the heels. So because you don't see that in this day and age, you automatically say that kayfabe is dead? Kayfabe is alive and well. It just looks differently. Wrestlers are blending reality and fiction. You can't tell what is what. MJF. MJF is living his gimmick online. You don't know who the real MJF, and quite honestly, let me tell you this about social media. Everything that you see on social media, to me, because I'm a pro wrestler, I use my pro wrestling brain, everything on social media is a work. It's a part of the show. You see people going on vacation every single week on your social media. Pick one person on your social media who you see going on vacation, flashing money, driving nice cars, but don't even have a window to throw a pot of piss out of. It's a show. It's all a show. Social media allows us to live a life that may not be true. MJF. I'm sure that MJF really isn't like that with all his friends. But you know the catch? We ain't MJF friends. We are pro wrestling fans. So since we are pro wrestling fans, the image that we get to see MJF as is MJF. I bet you $100 that MJF is the kind of person that would take the shirt off of his back and give it to his best friend. Fernando's in the chat. He says, what's up, Tristan? What's going on, Fernando? The question today that we're talking about is social media running pro wrestling? Fernando says that he thinks that social media is bad for wrestling. It's ruining everything. Fernando, thank you so much for that. There was a time where podcasts talking about wrestling couldn't live. Shows like the Tristan Law Show, because we've progressed well beyond the podcast. We may have audio-only versions. Now that I figured out the dispute with Spotify, the audio-only versions are going to be appearing again on Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you find audio-only podcasts. But these stuff couldn't live. SiriusXM has a whole entire station dedicated to pro wrestling. And if you don't understand what is happening here on this channel, I made the announcement a couple of days ago, and it was last week, and it was a couple of days ago, that Cheyenne the Voice Ortiz, one of my good friends who you saw at Streamomania, who you've seen here before on the show, he's bringing main event conversations featuring Cheyenne Ortiz here to this channel. It's going to be produced live on this channel. 40 years ago, things like this couldn't live on this channel. It couldn't live like this. It couldn't live. But in this day and age, we can. So social media, it's ruining some stuff, but what it does, it has helped as well too. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. Universal's in the house. What's going on, Universal? Fernando says that he disagreed. Kayfabe is dead. Talent doesn't respect it like they used to. Let me see if I can put this in another way, Fernando, and thank you for your comment. The times have changed, and I'm trying to think of something that you would do as a sign of respect, right? Maybe, okay, look, like some people say that men should walk on the right side of the side closest to the street and let the woman walk on the inside, right? Some people say that. Some people agree with that. Some people don't. That's not what we're talking about today. But back then, it was a sign of respect to take your coat, put your coat in the mud, and let the woman walk so she doesn't dirty her shoes. This day and age, it's not really something that happens anymore. But it doesn't mean that we disrespect women. I think that as a wrestler, in my opinion, and you know, Fernando, you've been here for a while, that your opinion is valid. But in my opinion, I think that kayfabe is still here. It's still here. There are parts of the business that are still protected, and there is more parts of the pro wrestling business that are in the light, that are in the shadows. I mean, granted, anything that I'm talking to you guys about here is nothing that you can't get in a good Google search. Go to ChatGPT and figure it out. So I'm not telling you anything that's like earth-shattering. Maria's here. What's going on, Maria? Universal says that social media is hurting all entertainment, especially the wrestling business. There's one thing, thank you for your comment. There's one thing that social media is really doing when it comes to hurting the wrestling business entertainment. I'm going to talk about that later on. Make sure you hold on to that for a little bit. Universal says that we live in a too open world, which is not a good thing. Universal. Universal. Growing up as a kid in New York City, going to the supermarket, I would see the tabloids, right? With some kind of fake thing, real thing, semi-truth, half-truth, all the truth on the front page of a magazine. And I would say, oh my God, I can't believe this is possibly or possibly not happening. Now you don't need tabloids anymore. If I want to know what's happening in the life of Roman Reigns, I'm going to go right now on my phone and I'm going to type in Roman Reigns. Let me see if he even got... I'm going to go and I'm going to type in Roman Reigns, right? Joe, this is his real page, yep. And I'm looking and all I'm seeing is everything here is pro wrestling related. That's who we see him as, right? But we don't see anything about his personal life. So some people do protect their personal life. But if you really want to find out what people are doing in their personal life, your favorite entertainers, just go look on Twitter. That's why I liked Twitter at first, because Twitter made me feel like I had an extra connection to the people that I liked. You got people like MJF, like I said, that's blending reality and fiction. You don't know what's left or right when you're looking at MJF. Becky Lynch, she's using social media to sell feuds online. Logan Paul, bravo. Logan Paul is the blueprint for crossover. Logan Paul is this era's Cyndi Lauper. Cyndi Lauper is the one that helped usher in the rockin' wrestling connection and made it so that WrestleMania 1 could be a thing, and that indoctrinated wrestling fans to see that their favorite entertainers are a part of pro wrestling too. You know one of the coolest things about being a pro wrestling fan and watching it live? Or watching it live in person, I don't know about WWE, too expensive these days. To know that your favorite singer, your favorite movie star, your favorite musician, artist, sports player likes WWE as well too. Logan Paul made it possible for people on YouTube, Twitch, wherever people live stream, to feel that now they could get into pro wrestling. Roman Reigns, we talked about Roman Reigns. Let's talk about Roman Reigns and the Bloodline's digital dominance. You got memes, you got TikToks, you got fan edits. Every single episode of Monday Night Raw, every time we saw the Bloodline or somebody online, you would get a meme, a TikTok, a fan edit. And what did those things do? They kept the story alive. Indie wrestlers. Hi, I'm Tristan Law, semi-retired pro wrestler and your host of the Tristan Law Show. I was an indie wrestler that used social media to build my brand. Before I ever stepped on television, I used social media so that I can promote the shows that I'm going to be on. Those are things that I still do today. I'm not an indie wrestler anymore. I'm an indie content creator because I don't have Warner Brothers or Netflix or anybody behind me. So I have to utilize my own grassroots effort for people to know who I am. But I got people like Universal, like Maria, like Fernando, like Heel Vega, like Cupcake. I haven't seen Cupcake in a while. Cupcake girl, where you at? You know, Stu, who likes to come over here and drop his wrestling views. You guys come to see me because I'm building this brand. And I'm building it grassroots with the help of you. You guys, I'm sure you guys share it out and go say, hey, you know, this guy here is talking about wrestling. If you like wrestling, come give this guy a chance. And I appreciate you for that. That's something I got from indie wrestling. The things that you see with your favorite WWE or AEW stars or TNA stars, wrestlers, cutting promos on social media, that's something we were doing in the indies. Before the WWE even had the idea to do it, we were doing it first. I promise you in 2009, 2008, we were doing it first. You were told by the certain promoters, go online and promote the show. Cut a promo. Let everybody know that you're wrestling. Maria says 3 is a mixed bag of good and bad that social media does for wrestling. Social media is ground zero for negativity in our society. Maria, you're right. Maria, you're right. The things when it comes to social media, it gives people the testicular fortitude, the gall, the balls to say something to you that they would never say to you in real life. I'm a 6'1", 200 and some odd pound black man. The things that people try to say to me on social media, they would never say to me in real life because they're afraid that I might just snatch them up in the street and fold them up into an envelope. Social media, that's what they call them. Twitter fingers, keyboard warriors. In the time when I was growing up, we called them phone thugs because you're not really about that life. But you about that life on social media to make people feel like, oh, that you're Billy Badass. Look, I'm the nicest guy that I know, right? If I can work around a bee and not have to mash the beef, me and the bee can coexist. We can coexist. But the second I feel like the bee's threatening me, that bee's gone.
Bing bang.
Bee is gone. But don't let this kindness take you for a weakness. Sometimes I have to say, you know what? I'm not going on Threads today. My favorite social media platform to go on Threads. You can always follow me, The Real Big Tris. My favorite social media going. That's how I met Jess. She'll be back on Monday. Love Jess. That's how I found her. That's how her and I get to sit here and talk to you about something that we love, pro wrestling. But sometimes I got to say, you know what? Threads is a little bit too toxic. Let me go ahead and cut it off. You're right. You're right. Does breaking character online help or hurt the story? That's the question that I used to ask myself, right? I used to run 2 Facebook pages. One for the real me and one for the kayfabe me, or one for the non-kayfabe me, one for the non-kayfabe, whatever. Because I used to feel that Tristan Law, the real life person, nobody really cares about that. Nobody's going to buy, you're not going to buy a ticket to see who I am in real life. You're going to buy a ticket to see me as the person that's going to kick your favorite wrestler's ass. That's what I did. But now in this day and age, what I do now is kind of changed. You don't show up for the wrestler. You show up for the man that was the wrestler. You show up for the Tristan Law that's a regular person just like you that gives you the opportunity to be a part of the show. So I'm asking you this. Should wrestlers be required to maintain kayfabe in the digital era? Let's see. Universal got a lot going on. Universal says fake, not real. People want truth, not lies and fakeness. Nothing real about them. Get it? A real brand, not a fake one. Fernando says that social media makes folks very brave. Very brave. I used to work customer service jobs. And when I was on the phone handling these people's customer service issues, this is way back in the day when Jesus was a child. The things that these women would tell me on the phone, that these men would tell me on the phone, that what my mother should have did with me. Put me in a sock, swallow me, whatever. They wouldn't tell me that in real life. Because when I'm on the phone, you would get this. Hi, thank you for calling such and such company. My name is Tristan. How may I help you today? That's the voice that you get. Because I'm so nice, I have to be nice. I'm paid to be nice to you. I have to be nice to you. That's what I have to do. In real life, though, here's the thing, though. What I want everybody to understand. Even though people may say mean things online to you, you have to not let people put the battery in your back. You have to always understand that you are in the driver's seat and nobody's in control of what you do. You got to be very careful of what you do, right? You got to start looking at the amount of time that's going to take for you to make that decision that'll turn out the bad way, and how much prison time is equal to that. I was on the train coming home last night. Guy wanted to get into a fight on the train. The other guy got bloodied up. The one guy that got bloodied up, from what I understand, he was the aggressor. Use your mouth and use your actions right, especially when you're online. Don't let 5 seconds of fun, 5 seconds of anger or frustration or anger put you in jail for 25 years. It's not worth the time. They don't have YouTube in jail, so you can't hang out with me. So even though people are mean and nasty online, you know what I usually do when people are mean and nasty to me here? Why? Because I'm a black guy, so they want to come throw out the N-word. That don't affect me. Let me tell you how crazy, let me tell you how my mother raised me. I got a story for y'all. I was in elementary school way back in the day. You know, maybe like 30 some odd years ago, I was in elementary school. And one of the things for me, my trigger, was that you can't talk about my mama. Why? Because nobody else let nobody else talk about their mama. So I'm not going to let you talk about my mama. One day somebody called my mother fat, and I got into a fight and I got into an argument. I went home, my mother asked me, my mother used to ask rhetorical questions where she already knows the answer. And my mother said to me, what happened in school today? I got into a fight. Why'd you get into a fight? Because this kid called you fat. My mother was kind of big back in the day, respectfully, right? My mother wasn't a bikini model, right? But my mother said, what does their mother look like? I said, they're fat too. My mother said, why would you get into a fight with them? Their mother's fat too. Never forgot that. My mother might have forgotten that, but I'd never forgotten that. It's all about emotional intelligence. My mother said, why would you even get into an argument with them, especially if their mother's fat too? Social media is toxic. That's what life was like before social media. That same as that kid that called my mother fat back in the day is online, sleeping in maybe a box somewhere in the street, somewhere in New York City, and would still have the audacity to speak down to me online. You know why? Because online, you don't know what he's really doing. Let's see. Fernanda says that I'm awesome. Nah, you're awesome too. Fernanda says, yes, they should be required. You don't have YouTube in jail? Nah, there's no YouTube in jail. None. No YouTube in jail. And I never been, so I don't know. But actually, I heard they sneak phones in, but that's neither here nor there. Should wrestlers be required to maintain kayfabe in this digital era? I think to an extent. I think that maybe they should separate the two, because some people are really private about their lives and they don't want their kids all the way out there. You know, they don't want you to know when they're on vacation. They don't want you to know all their nice things. Because let me tell you this, one of the crazy things that I look at about social media. Y'all be on there posting that y'all going on vacation. Y'all post your brand new car. Y'all post your brand new big TV that y'all get. Y'all post the new rings and the chains that y'all get. And wonder why people rob y'all? I don't have any of that. Don't knock on my door. I don't have any of that. People will show up to your house not knowing that you live in a one-bedroom shack, but the perception that they get of you is that you're this guy with a lot of money. And it's not just wrestlers playing the games though. It's companies that themselves are rewriting the rules. Your favorite pro wrestlers, your favorite pro wrestling companies, they aren't just watching the conversation. They're a part of it. WWE is breaking major news first on X and social media and Instagram. AEW's leading into the social buzz. Tony Khan with his tweets. The MJF bidding war. That's just a hype cycle. TNA, bravo. If it wasn't for digital media, I think a company like TNA wouldn't even be alive today. Storylines now exist across shows and across social media. You miss Twitter, you can miss the whole story. Didn't John Cena book the match with him and AJ Styles on social media? I remember that. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes got jumped by Kevin Owens a couple months ago. How did we know? Social media. Rumor and innuendo was they said have all the fans be outside, have right by Cody Rhodes' bus, and have everybody take video and let them make it viral. They'll probably still record it, but if nobody else puts it online, we'll record it and we'll make it viral ourselves. I want to say that TNA, like I said before, TNA survived because of digital. They got a digital champion. No TV champion, digital champion. AEW has the best social media. They have the best Instagram between WWE, TNA, and AEW. Why? Because I don't watch all their pay-per-views. Let me rephrase that. I don't watch any of their pay-per-views. It's too expensive for me. But I can tell you what's going on. All I got to do is log into Instagram and I go, oh, this is what happened in that match. I loosely keep up with AEW. I understand what's happening there. Yeah, it's wrestling. I understand what's happening there, but I'm not fully deep in balls deep like I am. I can't say that. Knee deep like I am with WWE. But the way I keep up with AEW is on their social media page, and they do a great job keeping a casual AEW fan like me invested. Maria says that folks should be required to stay in kayfabe. They get paid good money. The least they can do is help the storyline be successful. Okay, I agree, Maria. Maria, thank you so much for your comment. Maria, do you think that they should have two social medias then? Should they have one, should they have one for their personal life? And should they have one for their personal life as well, for their professional life as well too? That's the question. I'm asking you that. And I'm also asking, has social media ruined pro wrestling? That's the poll, the live poll. When you're watching live, you get to participate in the live poll. 100% of the audience says that social media has ruined pro wrestling. The new rhythm of the business of pro wrestling is content every day, not just Monday night. WWE right now, and I don't consider YouTube to be social media, not anymore. YouTube is on the same exact level of Netflix, if you ask me. WWE does a really good job with their YouTube channel. Go to WWE Vault. It was something that I talked about here before WWE started talking about WWE Vault. Everybody's wondering, what's WWE doing with their content? WWE is not putting their content on Peacock anymore. WWE is not putting their content on the WWE network. It's not all of it's on YouTube. Where is it going? There used to be WWE On Demand, right? 24/7 or whatever it was, that you can log in. I think it was like $15 a month, and you had raw access to the WWE library. You could watch probably everything in their library. But now times have changed. They know that their library is worth money. Without the library, WWE wouldn't be worth anything alone. But with YouTube, they now collect the ads on it. If you don't have YouTube Premium, you're watching an ad. You know how I don't know? I have YouTube Premium.
Bing bang.
WWE is not just putting out content every Monday night, Tuesday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning, day after a PLE. You're getting content every day. When you're done right now, go over to WWE Vault. See what they're putting on WWE Vault. There's always something to watch there. Social media, if you go to WWE's Facebook page, they got something there for you to watch. You go to their TikTok, there's something there for you to watch. Imagine, a lot of us, Maria, Fernando, Universal, we grew up in a time that if you wanted to watch pro wrestling, you had to either be home or buy the magazines. Now, you don't even have to live anywhere, and you don't even need to know how to read. All you need is your phone and to be in the street, and you can still be indoctrined with WWE, with your favorite pro wrestling company, and still know what the hell is going on. Maria says that, yes, they should have 2 social media accounts. I agree with that. I agree, Maria, because some people just really don't want to know how the sausage is made. Some people really don't want to know that Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes are probably really good friends. People don't want to know that. Some people just want they want their disbelief suspended consistently. And I think that if that is something that more pro wrestlers say that they want, maybe companies should say that. There was a time that every WWE superstar had their own Facebook profile page. It was a fan page, and it was ran by the WWE. But then you had the regular personal pages. If you could find a personal page, go follow them. Universal says one stream, filter what you share, stay in character. If you're a face, post face things. If you're a heel, post heel things. I co-sign on that. Like MJF. MJF is a heel. He posts heel things all the time. When you go to MJF's, that's not even a thing. When you go to MJF's Instagram, all you see is wrestling. You see him all bloodied up. You see him looking cocky. You see them promoting Collision. You see him there with his wife. But you see what the guy did with his wife's face? I'm going to show you so you don't have to go. He covered her face with the AEW championship. That's not who MJF is in real life. Because you think that she's dumb enough to marry a guy that cares about the championship more than her? But you know what? That's the character. She didn't marry the character. She married the man. I feel that companies are adapting and that companies are adapting and they're chasing clout, right? Let me ask you this. Does this constant access make wrestling feel more alive or less special? One of my favorite social media channels to follow at one time was by the late, great Jason David Frank. If you don't know who that is, he was the White Ranger, the Green Ranger from Power Rangers. I felt that he had a line directly to his fans, to his audience, that we were in his life. And that's why I take the time to try to read all the comments that you guys post. You can always email me at tristanlawshowmedia@gmail.com, or you can always send me a call to the Pro Wrestling Hotline, 973-826-0101, because I like how Jason David Frank made me feel like I was a part of his community, right? And this community that we're building here, I feel that by the constant access, it makes it feel a little bit more special. Now, you don't got access to my personal life, but if you look at my Instagram, you might know one or two things about me. I'm very careful of how I drop breadcrumbs, though, and what I do. If you listen to the Tristan Law Show long enough, you might find out a lot about me, but you'd have to watch a lot of episodes to find out things about me. But here's where it gets wild. The numbers, they don't matter like they used to anymore. Forget Nielsen. The new rating system is views, likes, and retention time. Raw or Dynamite, they might draw 1.5 million live viewers. Bravo to them. Bravo to them. But you know that they have clips on YouTube that have hit 10 to 20 million? 10 to 20 million. That's because they get some people might want to watch it twice. You know what? Fernando might see this great video on the Tristan Law Show and say, I'm going to send it to my friend. Maria might be sitting around at Thanksgiving, talking to her family. Oh, hey, Maria, what are you doing? Oh, you know, I watch this show with this guy on YouTube. It comes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. He's got another show coming on, you know, with Cheyenne Ortiz, Main Event Conversation. It's about pro wrestling. Oh, I love pro wrestling. Or I know somebody that's in pro. Maria's going to share it with them. Not only does Maria watch that clip once, she watches it twice. It's WWE getting 20 million views on a post. AEW getting 10 million views on a post. TNA getting a couple 100,000 views on a post. That's money in their pockets. That's money. It's worth more than the views. It's tangible and you can track it. People are always saying, oh, well, you know, WWE or views are down. Yeah, views are down. Views are down, but views don't matter anymore. I'm sorry, not views. Ratings are down, but ratings don't matter anymore. WWE's YouTube is a global machine. You can get their content faster. It's shorter. You don't have to sit through a whole entire Monday Night Raw, and it's more shareable. What WWE, AEW, TNA, and even your favorite independent wrestling company, and I'm telling you, I always talk about indie wrestling. Go find an independent pro wrestling company that you like in your area. I'm sure that they're on YouTube posting clips, and if they're not, maybe that's a job for you, to where you can post the clips on your social media to let your friends and family know that it's your favorite independent company. The thing that makes independent pro wrestling so great is that you'll see tomorrow's stars there. You got ACW that runs in Poughkeepsie, New York. Shout out to them. To Hale Collins and Vic Delicious. Their ACW world champion, their ACW heavyweight champion, wrestled on SmackDown last night. If you don't know who it is, I'll tell you who it is. It's Matt Cardona. Or is it Zack Ryder? I don't know. I'm getting confused with this whole thing. You find your favorite independent company and you share it online. AEW social clips are building fans overseas who've never watched the TV before. Sponsors and networks, they're now chasing engagement over ratings. It's so easy for somebody to post to put an ad to something on YouTube or social media and for them to track how many people are actually watching it. Not everybody gets rated by Nielsen, but everybody gets rated by YouTube. YouTube tells me exactly how long you watch, where you came from, why you watch, and things that you like to watch. YouTube tells me all of that about you. YouTube tells me what your preferred gender is. YouTube tells me how old you are. I know that most of you guys are in my age group from 18 to 44. I'm closer to the 44 than the 18. It's so easy for you as a content creator and as an advertiser to see where your money is going. Wrestlers, individual socials, they drive brand deals. Logan Paul, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. If you're looking at their social medias, you go, oh, Rhea Ripley's into tattoos. Maybe she can sponsor this tattoo company. Jade Cargill is Jamaican, right? She represents Jamaica. Jamaica. She represents the country that my family comes from. Maybe somebody wants to do some kind of endorsement. Maybe they can use Jade Cargill for, travel in Jamaica. There's so many different things that you can use, that wrestlers could use their individual social medias for brand deals. Even you too. Things that you like, you can use them to drive some deals. Let's give the chat some love. Fernando says, Seth Rollins cashing in at SummerSlam is the perfect example of how staying in kayfabe works. Nobody knew for sure if he was hurt or not, and it was such a surprise when he cashed in on Punk. 100%. 100%. You're 100% right, Fernando, on that. Universal says that Tristan, AEW beat WWE in the ratings this week. Great, but who cares? Right, because didn't AEW have blood and guts this week? They had blood and guts. But at the end of the day, yeah, ratings mean something, but I think there's a lot more. I think that the money bag is a lot bigger when it comes to your social media views. Don't get it wrong. People still pay for ratings. But your social media views are king. When somebody comes to the Tristan Law Show and they go, oh, this guy has 800 and some odd subscribers, there are people that don't subscribe that watch this channel. And if you subscribe and don't watch this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 and do some good things here. There are people who don't watch the channel. But you can watch and say, oh, I don't subscribe to the channel. But there are people that can say, hey, I remember when I started watching this guy. He only had 100 some odd followers. Now the guy's got almost 1,000 in less than a year. What the hell did he do? He must be popular. I don't know. Maybe you guys just like what I'm doing. Universal says, Tristan, social media views don't make money for TKO. Why you ask? Because they're a real business. It's still money in the bag. Only people that are not an actual business make money from YouTube. Okay, maybe that's something to look into. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I think that only small content creators, well, okay, you know what, Universal, without me knowing all the facts, and I'm not saying that you're not telling the truth. The way that I'm looking at it is then why would media companies, why would brands be so interested? Like, if you want to watch, what was it? Family Matters, I think it is. If you want to watch Family Matters, my mother likes Columbo. Found the Columbo YouTube channel. Why would somebody take the intellectual property that they could just easily put on Peacock or whatever it is and make money off of the fee when they can just put it on YouTube and get the fans that like it to come there? I don't know. Has to be some kind of money in it. Universal says you need to do your research. Okay, I'll do my research and I'll come back to you. I got your email address from the time you emailed me, so I'll do my research and we can sidebar that. He says that actual ratings make money and ad revenue. This is the major reason why Tony doesn't post a lot of vids on YouTube. He knows he doesn't make money from them. Okay, I will take into effect that when they had the AEW show that used to show up on YouTube back in the day, it was like dark or after dark or extra dark or really dark, whatever it was. I can agree that it wasn't making that much money on YouTube because there probably wasn't a lot of people watching it, right? If Tony Khan is going to spend that money putting it on YouTube for paying the wrestlers, paying the cameramen, there has to be some kind of money on it. Where is the money coming from? Has to be advertisements. Tony Khan, Universal says the algorithm does, not YouTube, aka endorsement or influencers. I think the metric though of who's over does equal who's trending. Look at Jey Uso. Jey Uso is over because he not only trended in the arena, he trended online as well too. Should we stop judging wrestling by TV numbers? I say yes in this day and age. Universal might disagree, but it's okay. Are YouTube and TikTok the new Monday Night Wars? I disagree. I don't think that YouTube and TikTok are the new Monday Night Wars, but I think that TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, they're all in a war against each other. They're in a war for our time and our attention. What they're looking for is, can I get this person to watch? Can this video make this person stay on our platform? Because YouTube's in the business of you not going to TikTok. TikTok's in the business of you not going to Instagram. And Instagram, I guess, Facebook is the same, but Instagram wants you to stay on Instagram longer than you go to Facebook. How do they do that? Creators like me and mega creators like the WWE or other big media companies, they produce the content and it stays online and it makes you stay. I watch YouTube all day long. I watch The People's Court. I watch body camera videos. I watch The Breakfast Club. Those are things that keep me watching social media, that keep me watching YouTube. I watch things that make me smarter. I watch how to become a better YouTuber. I watch public speaking videos so I can be a better public speaker. That's what keeps me there. But now we got this new thing though. Short form content. Is short form content killing the long form content, the long form storytelling of wrestling? People don't have attention spans anymore. People have more time to watch that 30-second clip than a 15-minute video. One of the things that I'm going to go watch in WWE Vault the second I'm done with you in the next couple of minutes is I'm going to go watch Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart at Survivor Series. I saw it pop up on YouTube this morning. I'm like, yeah, right when I'm done with this episode, I'm going to go do it. But sometimes, though, that 30-second story speaks more than a 30-minute story. When I'm putting together clips of the Tristan Law Show, I do it all myself here. It's a one-man show. When I'm putting together clips of the show, the things that I'm looking at is, can I tell this story in 15 seconds? The clip that I'm taking, that I'm cutting, and I'm putting so that you can watch on YouTube Shorts or TikTok, wherever you watch. The question I always ask myself when I'm done is, have I told the story, or can I tell the story in less time? A 3-second story from a YouTube short, it is very powerful. But with all that exposure, all that access that comes with the size of the story nobody wants to talk about, the crowd is louder than ever. And meaner than ever too. The dark side, you got the trolls, you got the leaks, you got entitlements. Wrestlers are being harassed or being doxxed after storylines go wrong. Look, pro wrestlers are people too. They're involved in putting on a show that makes you believe that something's really going on. If the storylines don't go right, it's not appropriate for you to show up at somebody's house. You know what? It's never appropriate for you to show up at somebody's house unannounced. Call first. And if you don't have a number to call, that means you don't show up. Stop harassing people on social media. Stop trolling people. The leaks, the thing about social media, right, working in New York City, is that I see people get, that guy that got beat up on the train last night, I'm sure if I look hard enough, I could find the video. Because everybody's more concerned with being, oh, I want to get this for World Star. They're calling the police because everybody wants to be first. Everybody wants the clout. They want to be able to say, I was the one that leaked it. Spoilers? Oh my God. Spoilers? Nothing makes me more upset than spoilers. If I can't watch WWE right now, I stay off social media. You know when I watch SmackDown? I'll tell you when I finished SmackDown. 5 minutes before I sat here talking with you, I was watching the Vision and the new member of their War Games team in the ring. Hate spoilers. I had to stay offline all night to figure that out, and I accidentally typed in WWE.com, and I ruined it for myself this morning. I knew that something happened. I went to Threads last night and saw that Zack Ryder was back in the WWE. Ruined it for myself. Performers, though, performers constantly, they're under a microscope, right? Like people think they can't fail. They can't heal. They can't unplug. They're real people too. We are real people too. Just like you're real, I'm real too. So is John Cena. So is Nikki Bella. We all go through real life people problems. A lot of fans have to understand that there's a line in the middle. On one side of the line is your passion, and on the other side of the line, that's entitlement. You're not entitled to anybody's time online. Mick Foley's not even on X anymore for whatever reason he may choose, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. You're not entitled to anybody's personal life. I'm not entitled to your personal life. I am humbled by the fact that you take time out of your day to sit here with me for an hour while we talk pro wrestling. But I'm not entitled to your personal life. I'm not entitled to come over to your house and open your fridge and see what's in there. So why are you entitled to do that to somebody like John Cena? It's okay to be passionate, to see The Rock in public. You remember seeing The Rock on television for all these years, and you happened to be in the right place at the right time and you saw The Rock. And it's in a restaurant. He's eating. What do? Do you go over there and ask for an autograph? Maybe you can wave from across the restaurant, and then maybe when he's finished eating, then maybe you can go ask. Because I'm telling you, never get in between a man and his food. I think that it's on the pro wrestlers, though. It's on the people. It's all up to you to draw your own boundaries. Do you embrace you embrace the chaos, or do you say, hey guys, this is too much for me? I always say, if you saw me in public, say hello. If you see me and my kid walking around, you can wave. Don't come too close, but wave, right? Because I don't like him to be afraid or be scared of people that he don't know. But if you saw me one-on-one in public, you can come on over and say, hey, Tristan, I see you on the Tristan Law Show. I like your show. I like your channel. Can I take a picture with you? Of course the hell you can. But when I'm eating, don't do it. There's always food in the beard. Because the thing you got to look at is, if fans are this powerful now, what happens next? It might completely reshape the business. The bookers used to have the pencil. Now it's in the comments section of your favorite social media website. They got AI and fan data shaping creative decisions. Fans are already fantasy booking via polls. That's what we do here in the Tristan Law Show. I give you the ability to sit in the booker's room, the writer's room, with Triple H, Tony Khan, or whoever, and we get to write our own storylines. I give you a space to where you can talk about you can fantasy book. Doesn't mean that WWE is going to do it, but it's sure as hell fun to think about it. Interactive, you got interactive watch-alongs, TikTok lives, and live stream feed loops. I'm a part of that, right? If WWE wants to know what's hot right now, look at the Tristan Law Show. If you want to know what is hot right now, in my opinion, come look at the Tristan Law Show. Because I talk about things that I find that are popular on social media, and I talk about things that are popular with you that I can resonate with. Fans are getting what they want, though, until it ruins the surprise. Why must you go online and ruin it for somebody else? Why? Universal says, Tristan, it goes both ways. If you use social media to push what you want, you have to take when it goes bad. It's a double-edged sword, I agree. But it agrees it stays online, not in the real world. Don't cross the line. Has social media ruined pro wrestling? 100% of the audience says yes. But at the end of the day, wrestling's always been about connection. The only thing that has changed is where we all meet each other. Because the more I think about it, wrestling's always been about connection. It started with the roar of the crowd. The signs in the air, the chants that fill the arenas, but somewhere along the way, the crowd, we all moved online. Now the chants are hashtags. The signs are tweets. And the pops, they come in the form of millions of views overnight. We've reached a point where the fans, where we're not just reacting anymore, we are participating. We are a part of the storyline. We are influencing booking to an extent. We are building stars, and sometimes we are breaking them too. It's powerful. It's unpredictable, and it's changing what it means to be over in pro wrestling. But here's the thing. Whether you're cheering in the front row or tweeting from your couch, it all comes from the same place. Passion. And that's what makes this whole entire thing work. The fans, the wrestlers, the promotions, we're all a part of the same story now. So maybe the question isn't, do fans have too much power? Maybe the real question is, what are fans going to do with it? Because the future of wrestling, it's not just happening in a ring anymore. It's happening in real time, one post, one chant, one click at a time. Well, is social media running pro wrestling? Is it ruining it? Is it making it bad? That's the question. Let me know in the comments. The next episode will be Monday. Jess will be back Monday live at noon. Email me at tristanlawshowmedia@gmail.com. Call me at 973-826-0101. I want to thank Fernando. I want to thank Maria. I want to thank Universal and everybody else that participated in Watching the Dark. Thank you so much for watching the Tristan Law Show. I'm Tristan Law, and I'll see you next time.
Flashing red lights, driving at night, windowless ride, feeling alive, nothing